'cause she's a vampire, vampire, hotter than vampire. Strolling through the city, her heart has got no pity.
It is good to be back, and we are talking about one of my favorite topics in World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade, and that is Clan Nosferatu. In the history of vampires, from their genesis to modern day, vampires have a vast array of difference. However, if I were to overly simplify categorization of vampires, I would say that you tend to have two variances on vampires dependent upon the story that you want to tell. The first vampire is the incubus or the succubus type. These are the types that are the seductresses, who are cunning and use their wits and their supernatural good looks to lure people into their icy bites. These easily fit into the category of the majority of vampires you find in Vampire the Masquerade. These are your Ventrue, your Toreador, your Lasombra, and so forth. The other vampire, though, is one that is much more monstrous. Instead of the seductive, cunning vampire, these vampires tend to be more creatures who hunt in the night. They're less human and more animal. They always look subhuman, typically skirting the uncanny valley intentionally to feel otherworldly and unsettling. And thus we have probably one of the most beloved and important clans in Vampire the Masquerade, Clan Nosferatu. As the game loves to tell, each vampire clan has a curse, or a weakness, but none are more heavily personified than Clan Nosferatu. Unlike Clans Ventrue, who are just picky eaters, and Clan Asimite, who looks like they've always diablerized, Clan Nosferatu always appears like horrible, misshapen monsters. Their skin's typically green. They have boils and sores all over them. They typically lose all of their hair. They have open wounds, pointed ears, and jagged, nasty teeth. Out of all the clans, no clan knows how much it sucks to be a vampire more than Clan Nosferatu. There is certainly more than meets the eye whenever it comes to Clan Nosferatu, and we're going to get into that very soon. But first, what I really want to do is look at the origin story. And the origin story of Clan Nosferatu is actually from the comic book Blade and the character Deacon... You ain't believing me at all, are ya? I mean, what else do you think it fucking is? It's Nosferatu! Of all the inspirations that Vampire the Masquerade took from, there are none that are more on the nose than Nosferatu. Based on the 1922 German horror movie by F.W. Murnau and starring iconic actor Max Schreck, the movie that Clan Nosferatu based itself on also originally created the dichotomy between the suave, cunning vampire and the monster that lurks in the night. Nosferatu was an unauthorized retelling of Bram Stoker's original work, Dracula. And in this one, instead of being portrayed Count Dracula as this cunning, kind of secluded creature that lurks in the night, you have Count Orlok, which is much more of a monster than a man. And as such, you have Clan Nosferatu, the antithesis of a lot of what Vampire the Masquerade pushes. A lot of Vampire the Masquerade is the cunning, suave vampire. Look at the artwork. Unless it is a Clanbook Nosferatu book, odds are you're not going to see a Nosferatu on the cover. You're going to see a very attractive, suave, enticing character to kind of pull you into the book. Clan Nosferatu is the opposite. It is the other. Well, along with Clan Tzimisce, but we'll get into them later as well. They are the ones that tend to be the monsters, the antithesis, the 100% difference between the stereotypical vampire, which would be like a Ventrue or Lasombra, that are the suit-wearing sort of aristocrats, and you have the sewer-dwelling monsters that kind of lurk in the night. Personally speaking, Nosferatu are one of the best clans in the game, and one of my personal favorites. I tend to be able to tell who has never played Vampire the Masquerade before on how they respond to the Nosferatu. If the response is, "Ew, ugly vampires, I don't want to do that," then odds are they have never even come close to Vampire the Masquerade before. Because Nosferatu is easily one of the most powerful, strong, and great clans in the entire game. I do have to admit that I think that the creators saw Nosferatu as a necessity. Like, you have to have him in the game, but people in this world are fickle, and the idea of playing the ugly vampire might turn off a lot of people. Sure, there are some that are going to play him regardless, but the idea is, from a gameplay standpoint, you want to make them as viable as the Ventru and the Toreador. So, how do you take this concept and bypass the whole ugly thing? Well, they did a really smart thing here, which is to give them what is arguably the most powerful aspects of the entire game, especially whenever the game is mainly social maneuvering. And that is that the Nosferatu are information brokers. The important thing to know about Nosferatu is that they are definitely a clan first and hold that mentality throughout the game whenever it comes to politics and survival. They tend to organize into broods and live in sewer systems. They may believe in the Camarilla, the Anarchs, the Sabbat, and what have you, but the bonds between two Nosferatu will usually supersede the needs of the sect on average. Nosferatu realize that their weakness is detrimental no matter what sect that they belong to, and if they don't want to be cast out as monsters or hunted down whenever they're not seen as important, they have to always maintain that importance no matter which sect they belong to. As such, the majority of the Nosferatu tend to have a propensity for gathering information, collecting information, and sharing that information with other Nosferatu as a means of ensuring that they always have power. Bottom line, the Nosferatu know your secrets. They know everything that you've done. They know the things that you have not told anybody. The things that you think are safely locked behind closed doors. The skeleton hidden in your closet. They know about that. They know about that thing that you did that one time that you didn't tell anybody. They know, yes, they even know about that too. I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking that you have some impenetrable thing that has kept them from finding out. But they know about that too. Oh yes. And those other things, they know about those too. So, unless you want all of your dirty secrets aired out to the entire world, I suggest you treat the Nosferatu with respect. The Nosferatu are information gatherers, hoarders, and brokers. They hold leverage over princes, justicars, primogen, archbishops, and lowly fledglings and neonates. More often than not, a prince tends to have a Nosferatu in their ear, making sure that their clan is being treated fairly, or else the world is going to learn about their horrific secrets. How do they accomplish this information gathering? Well, it depends on which era you're in, and the most traditional way is just simply through obfuscate. They're hiding in your houses, they're checking in your various areas while you're asleep. They hide in that closet that you very rarely get into and whatnot. They just kind of sit around and listen, and are just quiet about it, picking up whatever, information that you might drop. In recent years, though, they definitely started to get into the internet and started to use that to their advantage. And once that happened, the Nosferatu's entire stock in information gathering was usually about here, and then it skyrocketed to way up here, past the point where you can even see on this camera. Thanks to the creation of the internet and most modern technology, a Nosferatu named Uncle Smelly was able to create a wonderful little database known as the Schrecknet, named after Max Schreck, the person that played Nosferatu in the movie. The Schrecknet is best described in the game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, where one of the characters, Mitnick, very clearly and distinctly goes through just how powerful the Schrecknet is and just how much information is really in it. The Schrecknet is it started off as a database, simply an information collecting area, but it later on continued to grow to be one of the most protected internet information gathering sites on the planet, deep within the dark web and almost completely and totally unhackable. Most of the time, especially for humans, even if they're able to hack a not important file of the Schrecknet, about 30 minutes later, there's going to be a Nosferatu knocking on their door in order to initiate them into the club. The Schrecknet has proven to be invaluable to the clan, ensuring their protection and survival in the modern age. The information is not limited to any sect, Sabbat Nosferatu, Camarilla Nosferatu, Anarch Nosferatu can all use the Schrecknet to their own benefit, furthering the clan first mentality over any sect. Not only as Clan Nosferatu the information gathering group, they also tend to be the ones that have the best sense of humor along with their fellow friends the Malkavians. They tend to have the best jokes and the best pranks to pull, and the best really moral stories that you can tell people. Just like any Nosferatu will tell you, the clan is most known for their sexual prowess. As the old saying goes, once you go gross, nothing ever comes close. Which, of course. But on top of their jokes, they are also known for embracing a number of different entertaining reasons. Typically speaking, they embrace those that will adapt well and those who are good at information gathering. However, there is something known as a Cleopatra, which may be one of the Nosferatu's greatest pranks. You see, for those who see themselves as vain and narcissistic and believe themselves to be Adonises in this world, you might want to be a little bit more humble the next time that you say that, because odds are a Nosferatu is going to show up and give you a humbling little reminder of how cruel life can be by creating your horrific visage for the rest of eternity. Nosferatu are powerful, cynical, joking, and ugly, all wrapped into one amazing unified clan. When it comes to the history of the Nosferatu, it has largely remained a constant throughout society. The clan itself has always fought an uphill battle, hiding vampiric society from humanity, as well as ensuring their place in the vampiric society as well. But, as with most things in this video, I always like to start with the story of the antediluvians, and how the progenitor fits in with the story. Probably one of the best parts of the story is the story of Absimiliard, the progenitor of the Nosferatu clan. Absimiliard was embraced by the second-generation vampire Zilla the Beautiful, along with Set and Hakim as their sort of siblings. It was said that Absimiliard was a beautiful man, which is what attracted Zilla to him. He was also quite conniving and pretty much set up the whole let's murder our elders sort of story. While stories like Arakel are up for debate on whether or not Arakel was actually cursed or whether or not Arakel took part in the whole thing is a whole other story. But this one, it tends to be a pretty well accepted truism that Absimiliard was the one who orchestrated the slaughtering of the second generation. As such, when Cain came calling, learning what happened to his childer, he was rightfully pissed. As such, Cain cursed Absimiliard, well, the worst, wearing the curse on their sleeve, being this ugly, horrific visage as he transformed from this beautiful man into this horrific creature, and thus the story of the Nosferatu and how they came to be. As stated, the Nosferatu are a constant clan. They are, from the Dark Ages to modern nights, the clan that works in the shadows. They are known to be the Spectre Kings, the true power behind the throne. They have used their mass power through information gathering to control things from behind the scenes, to create puppets to run their businesses as they see fit. Where there is society, there is the Nosferatu, always pulling the strings from the sewer, from the gutter. And it's always really nice to know that even for the King of Kings that sits at the top of the ivory tower, there's always going to be the Nosferatu at the very bottom telling him how to do things. It's the whole thing like, yeah, shit rolls downhill, but sometimes the shit gets slung back up at you, and the Nosferatu are always there to make sure that everybody falls in line with what they want. So what is the role of a Nosferatu in a game? A final and fun question to ask. This one's kind of a no-brainer sort of concept in truth. Whenever it comes to Nosferatu, the best ones are spies, rogues, information brokers, and harpies. They tend to make really good, serious characters as well as great comedic relief characters as well. As far as the NPCs are concerned, Nosferatu can make great harpies to counteract the typical cute toreador or the streetwise bruja with their knowledge of the city. They also make great seneschals as well if they take a more hands-on approach to ruling from behind the throne. No matter what, you can't go wrong with Nosferatu, one of the best clans in the game. And with that, you have the basics of what it means to be Clan Nosferatu. The sewer rats that control from behind the scenes, one of the most fun aspects of Vampire the Masquerade. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Please go become my patron on Patreon at patreon.com/TannerBivens. And please also comment below which of the 3 remaining Camarilla clans you would like to hear from. You still have to choose from Malkavian, Tremere, and Ventru. Until next time, thank you all so much for watching.